Dishonored was released back in 2012. Developed by Arcane Games and published by Bethesda, Dishonored follows the story of a man named Corvo Attano. Corvo was the bodyguard of the Empress and was tasked with protecting her. However, his life changes instantly when a coup against the Empress leaves her dead and Corvo is accused of the killing. Set to be executed, Corvo is then freed by a group of resistance who are against the coup and want to place the Empress's daughter Emily on the throne, seeing as it would be her birthright. The group tasks Corvo with taking out several political figures that helped put the coup in place. Its premise is both engaging and interesting, but is Dishonored really worth giving a playthrough nearly 10 years after it was originally released? Most certainly. Dishonored is a great game that includes morality, important themes, and an interactive story that truly shows that the game design was on point. Dishonored is still a popular title with shining reviews across all platforms. And there has to be a reason for this. So, let's take a look at precisely why Dishonored is worth playing in 2022. Thanks for tuning in to the DZSH group. I'm your host Zaina, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all our latest videos. Plus, check out our website for gaming, entertainment, and more. Dishonored is a brutal game, set in the dystopian nightmare of a city called Dunwall where a plague has gripped the streets, ravaging the population and leading to a complete totalitarian control. But beyond just these surface elements, there's something much deeper to Dishonored that makes it such an enjoyable game. Firstly, Corvo's character. Although the bodyguard turned assassin is a silent protagonist, you still somehow engage with his character more than you might think. By making the title first person and having Corvo be silent, you, the player, get a chance to place yourself in his shoes. This allows you to understand Corvo's fears, actions, and motivations more personally. Additionally, Corvo is a great character because he acts how you want him to act. As the player, you get a chance to change the way people perceive Corvo. This is done through several things, but most notably Dishonored's chaos system. The more violent and murderous you are in a given mission, the more hostile people seem to become, and this allows for much more of a stake in the choices you make throughout the game. Every death you cause changes the way people treat you. If you choose to remain low chaos and not kill anyone, that makes characters less hostile and more sympathetic, for instance. At the end of the day, you get to make Corvo the character you want him to be, and that's a really neat thing for video games to include. Corvo's motivations and drive to obtain justice for Emily is also powerful, because it reflects how Corvo is not a bad person at his core, rather he was just placed in a terrible position. As he fights for her right to the throne, it truly feels genuine, because there's meaning to his fight. It's not just fighting bad guys because they're bad, it's also because there's real emotional drive behind it. In terms of character design, Cedric Piravernet really shined through with the designs and styles of Dunwall and the characters. Corvo Attano's design is brilliant for his role in the story. Alongside his unique mask and recognizable style, Corvo's design cements that he is a powerful and enigmatic person. The mask provides a dehumanization aspect that creates a layer of fear between him and the enemy in front of him. With a wide range of weaponry to choose from, Corvo does strike fear in the hearts of enemies, and it's amazing how well portrayed that is. True to its style, Dishonored lets you take out enemies in a pretty brutal fashion. With heavy dismemberment, gore, and no shortage of intense kills, you can be sure that this game will really go all out. It's pretty intense, but certainly nothing worse than what you've probably seen in other video games anyways. And in a way, I think that Dishonored is unique like that. It doesn't hold back on showcasing the brutality of the world that it's set in. It certainly wouldn't make any sense if Dunwall was such a dark place, but Corvo had no ability to match the energy of it. That wouldn't fit at all. Dunwall is certainly one of the best crafted cities in video games out there. It's well designed, with the flair of what I saw to be industrial England and Victorian England all in one. Maneuvering around Dunwall, you can tell that the atmosphere of the city is grim. The color palette, cityscape, music, and the all-around lack of life in the streets adds a lot onto that. Additionally, because much of Corvo's work takes place throughout the night, the city is even deader than you might think. Although the idea of having a plague is nothing new in video games, it certainly raises the stakes of the Dunwall setting. It creates more obstacles and fear for the player to contend with, and it makes Corvo's job that much harder. Additionally, it helps showcase how plagues can create panic and a sense of tyranny by capitalizing on said panic. Dunwall, in its destroyed state, has become overcome with corruption and death in the streets. Mass graves, people being dumped into the ocean, and an all-around lack of respect for human life really shows just how badly Dunwall was impacted by the plague, if it wasn't already a bit of a nightmarescape beforehand. The magic system in Dunwall is absolutely brilliant. One of the coolest features in the game, you get a chance to interact with assassinations in a whole different light. Being able to play around with the different powers and abilities and take out guards in different ways each time adds a whole other layer of gameplay charm to Dishonored. Throughout the game, you have to find runes and bone charms to equip and upgrade certain magic abilities. Getting a chance to tailor your experience to fit your gameplay style, each magic ability can shape the way you interact with the game. For instance, some runes can help you get powers to slow down time. Bone charms can give you certain abilities like high-intensity dismemberment assassinations, or the ability to breathe for longer periods of time underwater. If you're ever faced with a situation where some bone charms are better than others, you can equip them and swap them out, making it easier to think and act with precision in a mission. One of the nice things about Dishonored is that it had a linear storyline. That's not to say that open worlds are bad, because that would be weird of me to say considering that Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite games, but Dishonored didn't create a massive RPG open world that needs hundreds of hours to interact with. It was a linear story that felt like it was the perfect length and wasn't just stuffed with content for the sake of content. Dishonored was focused on giving a more straightforward experience, and it provides a pretty good break if you're someone that plays a lot of big open world titles. In terms of story, Dishonored is obviously a revenge plot, but it's layered with things like conspiracies, magic, shadow organizations, and real human interactions and emotions. At the end of the day, it's not really just a revenge story. It has plenty of elements that make it a truly unique title. Dishonored is like the ultimate stealth simulator, and it really showcases how well done stealth can make for a great video game. There are plenty of stealth-based games out there, and Dishonored is certainly one of the best of them. There's no real way to enjoy the game without being stealthy and thinking about your next moves and how to outsmart your enemies. To me, Dishonored certainly is worth playing in 2022, and it really excels as a video game. It understood what story and what style it was working with, and fit the game elements to make it all a cohesive unit. Dishonored was a chaotic, violent, dark, grim, and powerful game that gives glimpses into things beyond just stealth and assassinations, but also the disconnect between societal classes, the lengths that humans can go to in cruelty, and so much more. If you still haven't played Dishonored, then you definitely should, because it's not just a game that should be passed up. It's amazing, and it's a fun game at that. If you do want to play it, the Dishonored games are all available on Xbox Game Pass, which you can sign up for today. Click the link in the description to learn more about Xbox Game Pass. And with that being said, thank you all for watching the DZSH group. If you enjoyed that video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on another upload. Check out our website for gaming and entertainment news and so much more. The link is, as always, in the description below. And until next time, this is Zaina, signing off at the DZSH group.